Hello everyone, welcome to another video on the channel and welcome to another GT Sport Daily Race C strategy guide, where this week we are heading to Laguna Seca Raceway in the US of A, and we are in the Honda variant of the Super Formula car. So we're a little bit late to the party this week, so rather than the Kudus Prime screen we have the actual settings screen from the game. So we can see we have fuel consumption at times 5, tyre wear at times 10, 15 laps of Laguna Seca Raceway, and when we go into the race details screen we can see that the only tyre that is mandatory out of the medium and the hard is the hard tyre. So with that in mind, let's move on to take a look at a few things before we look at actual strategies, and first up is the fuel. Now, fuel looks like it's just about on the edge for this one. My race runs I'm not actually using the boost, so the boost does tend to use up a little bit more fuel during a race. But even without using the boost, there is still a little bit of mild fuel saving to be done in this one. It's literally short shifting, maybe even about 90% on the rev bar occasionally. The Super Formula cars are pretty good at saving fuel, so if you do find yourself looking a little bit short of fuel, then you can sort of pull it back. But make sure you do watch that fuel. You don't want to sort of take any fuel on at the pit stop if you're making one, because that's just an instant 2-second addition, even if you only take 1% fuel in. So definitely get the fuel saving done, and don't take any fuel on at the pit stop. But moving on to the pit stop, if you're going to make one, let's take a look at the pit loss. So Laguna Seca, a lot of people think it's got a really long pit loss, but the really long pit loss only really applies to Group 4. So a little known fact that you may not be aware of is that the pit loss does change depending on the class of car you use. So for Super Formula, it is only around about 11 seconds that you're losing the pits, which is longer than a lot of races admittedly, but it's not the 19 seconds that we were losing in the Group 4 FIA race fairly recently. So an 11-second pit loss for Laguna Seca. So now that we've got our fuel and our pit loss times worked out, let's move on to some strategies. So the first strategy we're going to use is simply to start on the medium tyre, and then once the sort of mediums seem to have lost their ultimate pace, we'll move on to the hards, where we think is going to be that sort of sweet spot where the hard tyres will start to be able to match the medium tyre pace. So we actually move all the way to lap 6 on this run out of the 15 laps. This is about where I found that the medium tyres just started to lose that absolute performance. There's still plenty of grip available, but you are starting to find you've got to just slightly adjust those braking points, and that the front end doesn't quite have that same bite in. Certainly not the time to be pitting for hard tyres. I think we're probably still quicker than what the hard tyres can manage here. I did actually have to do quite a bit of practice to get sort of fairly consistent, so I kind of had a rough idea of what the hard tyres could do once the fuel burned down. And this is a lap where I found, well, I reckon is a sort of sweet spot to change onto the hard tyres, where the hard tyres will have the pace to start making you a little bit quicker, and that is lap 10. By this point the mediums are now starting to suffer a little bit. Again, it's not a case of that the car's difficult to drive or you're sliding about too much, you've just not quite got that front end anymore. And as I said, from my kind of practice to try and get up to speed on this combination, I was pretty confident I could start lapping quicker on the hards come this point. So into the pits we come, hard tyre selected. You can see we've got the fuel well under control, 5 laps to go, we've got 5.3 laps available. And we'll take another look at this pit stops. The car's stationary for 6.4 seconds. Quite a long pit loss in terms of Gran Turismo Sport, as we discussed earlier, around about 11 seconds lost, but we're now out on our hard tyres, and let's see if we've managed to make the right choice. So coming to the end of our first flying lap on the hard tyres here, we are actually going to set our fastest lap, so it looks like we've made a pretty good decision there. The hard tyres definitely seem to be the tyre to be on at this point in the run. Don't quite manage that pace as they sort of get towards the end of the race. 1 minute 8.8 the fastest lap. Lap 14 a little bit tardy there. We should certainly be getting the low 9s fairly comfortable on the hard tyres at this point. But out the last corner we come, we're going to cross the finish line. Another fairly tardy lap, but that is the medium to hard run complete, and that finishing time there, 17 minutes 34.3. So let's keep that in mind as we move on to the next strategy. That is an option. So with all of the hard tyres being mandatory, that means we can start on the hard tyres and attempt a no stop. So that's what we're going to do here. So there's not any real point watching too much of this run, so let's jump all the way forward to lap number 10 and see how these hard tyre lap times are holding up against the mediums. Now the mediums at the beginning of the run were sort of doing high 1 minute 8s in my hands and sort of low 1 minute 9s. It looks like the hard tyre is round about 0.8 to 1 second a lap slower. If you can absolutely nail a lap in the hard tyres, you can maybe get that down to about 6 tenths. But most of my laps are coming in about 8 tenths to 1 second a lap slower. Now we know the pit loss is 11 seconds. We're around about a second a lap slower. So it definitely looks like the non-stop could well be an option for you. We're jumping forward here to lap 15. We're on the last lap. The hard tyres are definitely past their best. The lap times are starting to fall away. We've got the fuel nice and under control here. We're going to finish with just the right amount of fuel. Again, little tiny bit of short shifting just in the early stages to get that fuel under control and make it a lot easier for you to manage in the second half of the race. But up to the finish line we come. Let's take a look at that finishing time and compare it to the one stop. So it's a 17 minutes 36.2, so we're only a couple of seconds slower. And I definitely think there was more time to be had in that non-stop run. It wasn't a great run in all honesty, but there was no major mistakes, so I thought it was well worth putting in the video. I did have a bit of a hard time getting these runs put together. I kept sort of spinning out in lap 8, the corkscrew did me a couple of times, but we got there in the end. So let's just recap on what we looked at early on in the video at this point. So looking at the two strategies that we ran there and comparing those finishing times, the one stop where we did 10 laps in the mediums, 5 laps in the hard, that's coming in at 17 minutes 34.4, and then non-stop hard run 17 minutes 36.3, so only a 1.9 second difference in the end. Now there was certainly more time in both runs. Certainly I think I could take about 3 seconds off that non-stop run and probably about 2 seconds off that one stop run, which would maybe put the delta around about only 1 second between them. So I can see a case for both strategies working. I think if you're at the front you'd probably want to go with the one stop. If you're towards the back you may want to start on the hards and try that no stopper, try and make up some positions that way. You could also do the one stop starting on the hard tyres. I don't think you want to be doing any more than 3 or 4 laps. But with the dirty air and the fact that the sort of delta between the tyres is only about 0.8 to 1 second, I think you could probably hold off medium tyre runners in the early stages. Sure, they'll put you under some pressure, but as long as they don't sort of really dive you from miles back, I think you can maybe just about hold them off. Compromise their race run, get into the pits, get onto the faster tyre. With that pit loss being quite big, 11 seconds, you can probably be able to drop back into some nice clean air. So definitely one to sort of keep in mind. It's a strategy that I did want to sort of try myself, but I did run out of time and I did want to get this video out. Moving on to the tyre delta, I did actually just mention that a wee minute ago. The mediums look to be about 0.8 to 1 second a lap faster than the hards went on the same kind of fuel load. A little bit of mild fuel management will be required in this one. A little bit of short shifting is going to be all you need, if nothing else really required. Certainly no fuel maps or anything like that. And that pit loss is about 11 seconds. So I had to put this one together pretty quickly. I'd like to have gone into in depth a little bit more, but this is my thoughts for this one. Hopefully there's some useful information in there for you to strategise your race. Anyway, I shall leave it at that. Thank you very much for watching. Please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you already haven't, and I shall see you in the next one. The next video is going to be a large Group 4 fuel test that I think should interest quite a few of you out there. Anyway, hopefully I'll see you for that one. Goodbye, and I shall see you on the next one.